Captain, we're approaching HT 174567 in 5 minutes. Captain Sarah Parker leaned forward to our hologram display. Start deceleration. Drop us outside its heliosphere. Prepare for scan and send analysis to my station. She leans back and tries stretching her neck to the side to try and remove the kink she had when her first mate speaks up. Hey, Cap? If we find a living planet, what do you plan to do with your share? First mate Michael Gretz asks, with a huge grin. Captain Sarah Parker side-eyes him, before exhaling a sigh, and speaks. Are you seriously going to ask that again every single time we visit a new star system? Frustration in her voice. The first mate's smile widens, as he barely holds back a laugh. Yes. She turns her head to him and gives him a glare. I could have you thrown out of an airlock, you know. That would be murder, ma'am. He continued to smile. Ah, come on, Mike. She would probably do the same thing she does in port. Find some handsome young man, give him the royal treatment that the boy toy deserves, promise him wealth and adoration, and leave him penniless on a random starport with a sore dick. Bjorn, the navigational officer, pipes in, while also holding a large smile. Sarah now gives him the cold look. Aren't you supposed to be monitoring our final approach? Yes, ma'am, he replies, stifling a snicker, and returns to face his display. You ask me that every time, Mike. We have visited 72 different star systems since I've taken the helm of the bounty. If you're doing it to get under my skin, it is working, Sarah says, as she returns to her holo display. Actually, ma'am, I actually don't know. A part of me does find it humorous, he responds. Bjorn activates the shipwide communications. Exiting hyperspace. Prepare for stop. Helm, cut hyperspace in 3, 2, 1, now. The bulkhead and everyone on board briefly distort into a kaleidoscope of colours and blurred images, before returning to normal. Everyone's stomach is queasy momentarily as they regain themselves. Space will be fun. Space is an adventure. Nobody will tell you how many lunches you'll lose until you finally learn to swallow it back down, Mike says sarcastically, his smile gone from his face. That's enough. Helm, make sure we are at full stop. Mike, let's get these scans done so we can move on, Sarah barks. Aye, Captain, Mike responds. Full system sweep. Don't leave even one rock unnoticed. Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I also wanted to apologize for the searches that were needed, but this needs to be classified as a top 5 report. No electronics. There is no record of us meeting, and if you are ever asked about it, you are ordered to deny any knowledge. As you see in front of you are paper documents, not digital, of what I'm about to tell you today. These reports will not leave this room. Take all the time you need to study them, as you will not see it again and all copies will be destroyed. Speaker Roman Balnoni pulls up a pale notebook with handwritten bulletins. Why such security? Earth has been at peace for more than 2 centuries, General Nathan Hartsworn asked. I too wish to know too. Admiral Chance McAfee pipes in, showing her frustration. If there is a threat within the Alliance, surely we would have heard of this long ago. Roman inhales. I'll get straight to the meat of the situation. We aren't alone in the universe as we once thought. There was murmuring in the room of 33 of the Earth Alliance's top brass, with one voice booming over the others with one question. Who and what are they? Making the room grow quiet. Roman inhales deeply. We don't know. I'll start at the beginning. I won't waste your time with a history of the Rosetta Project, but will give a brief description. Turn your packets to page 76, and I'll begin. The room is quiet, as papers shuffle, and Roman begins. As you all know, no life, not even bacteria, has been found since we started to explore the galaxy. Plenty of planets may be right for terraforming for our needs, but no life ever has been found. A slide appears in the center of the table. As you are all aware, we have probed or visited nearly 3,500 star systems, a small fraction of the galaxy. We found nothing. That is, until we got to SETI 78965. The picture you see before you is an ancient space station in orbit around a moon, the size of Neptune, that is orbiting another gas giant 15 times the size of Jupiter. A space station we, humans, didn't build. The murmurs begin again, and Roman raises a hand and the brass goes quiet. Completely derelict, except the primary core. Powered by something that we can now replicate, but not understand how it remained for so long. As the crew that discovered it entered the core, a hologram appeared and began speaking. What it was saying, nobody knew. Upon learning of it, this was immediately classified above the top 5, and the crew paid handsomely to remain quiet to the end of their days. The holographic slide moves to a blue-skinned bipedal organism, whose arms go as far as their knees and face that are exotic yet alien. Her eyes were black as night, and her ears appeared to have almost octopus-like extensions. Nose and mouth appeared almost human. Her head bald. She was speaking. This station was discovered nearly a century ago. The room became loud, and every top brass was yelling out towards Roman, or talking to another about it. "Quiet, please!" Roman shouted. The room died down. "I am not here to answer why no one was told. The decision to do this was long before any of us were even born. We have all inherited the work of those who came before us. We all have in our hands what was given. I can't imagine what they all thought, nor would I try." Roman took a deep breath and exhaled. "We did not know what the alien was saying. I'll play a small recording of her, and we are certain it is a she was speaking." A voice that was almost a whisper, that came across as a melody being played on the summer's flute, while wind chimes seemed to dance between her breasts. They all listened to this ancient voice, completely enthralled. "We put our finest scientists on this to decipher her words, but, alas, they came up with nothing. Project Rosetta stalled. For decades, they got nowhere." Roman took a deep breath. "That is until a second station was found showing a different alien 70 years later, and less than a year after that, a third, with her, another species." The room was quiet. It was like they were all just waiting for another hammer to drop. "We never could translate anything. That is until 3 months ago. We found the archive." "Captain, the second planet has life!" Sarah nearly jumped from her seat from the announcement. She stared at her holo-image. She raises her hand to get control of the bridge, chattering, "Hold on, everyone. We have had false positives before. Star type, status. Where is it?" "Star is a yellow type with Earth-type luminosity, 1.2 dollar masses. It does not show any signs of activity beyond the norm. The second planet in orbit with 1.05 Earth masses at a distance of 1.1 AU. 2 moon-like objects around it," came from the helm officer. "Bjorn, inform engineering we are going to need sublight engines and take the hyperspace engines offline. Helm, plot a course and have it on my screen in the next minute for approval. First mate Nathan, have our best probes launched for recon and immediately have all scans sent to the bridge." The archive had everything we needed to understand their language. It had the entire history of the universe as they knew it, which is still ongoing, by the way, to learn. And like any librarian could tell you, it was all there for us to look at. Once our AIs compiled it all down, we used it on the messages we had received from the aliens. What I'm about to reveal can never leave this room, even if everything we discuss makes it to the public. "Captain, first scans in. Planet atmosphere, 74% nitrogen, 22% oxygen, 3% argon, and 1% other trace elements." Sarah falls back into her chair, still eyes on her holo. "Life. What about water?" 68% water. All land masses are completely saturated with plant life. We are not picking up any fauna, but what we are picking up appears to be insects." Sarah smiles to herself. "Helm, continue course. We need a full sweep of the planet. I want to know everything about this planet before we broadcast our 20% finding feed to Earth. This is a time to celebrate, everyone." The whole bridge yelped in glee. "We are sending this message to you, those that follow us, know that though we are gone, you are our thoughts before we passed into the Vale of Shadow. We praise the author, hoping one day life will return to this galaxy. We know not if it ever shall, but we have faith that the author sees to it will. Long ago, when we were young, we ventured into the cosmos to find others like ourselves. We succeeded, and in so doing we formed bonds of friendship. Centuries turned to millennia, and millennia turned to eons. We flourished and brought more along to flourish with us. That is, until the gods came. We had no other word for them, both flesh and energy. Across the great expanse of the galaxies, they claimed they came to us. If we had known then what we know now, we would have turned them away or destroyed them. At first they came in small numbers. Then, in the tens, did the tens become thousands, and the thousands became millions. Gods, we called them. They claimed they were the first to awaken at the dawn of the universe. They gave us the history of everything. They explained the stars and why it needed to happen. We felt like lost children who found a parent. We were overjoyed, knowing that life flourished throughout the universe. It wasn't long before we realized they came with a deep secret. Several eons passed as we all lived in harmony. That is, until the Great Dying occurred. World after world went dark. We did not know what was happening. At first it was a few a year, then became many years after year. Our best scientists were put to the task to determine why. What we got in reply came too late. So late we couldn't stop our own demise. The gods, as we knew them, stole all their minds. We learned, much later, that when they came to our galaxy, their bellies were full. But, like any species that needs to eat, they would one day again hunger. A war broke out against the gods. There was one problem. We were already broken and too few. Drastic measures were used to kill them or imprison them. Entire planets were deorbited and tossed into stars. Fleets of vessels beyond count were kamikazed into theirs to end the threat that we couldn't defeat. They are cannibals. Even their own minds were used to feast upon. They spared none, even amongst their own. We eventually defeated them, but we know they aren't gone. It came at a great sorrow. Their ability to siphon the minds of their prey also siphoned the minds of our unborn children. The very eggs within our females had their minds consumed before they were even fertilized. No live births after the war would ever be recorded. Nothing but stillborns, mindless. It cost the lives of all of the species of the galaxy, except the last of us free. The war claimed everything. I leave this message to you, hoping that one day life once more returns to this galaxy. My species will leave for another galaxy, and set up a new home where we will live our long lives until extinction. To those of you who followed us, we know that a great threat looms in the dark. Take heed, and do not turn over rocks that you may not want to know what lies underneath. May the author bless you, and see to it you never find them.
Roman leans forward. Your packets are before you. Memorize everything and then leave this room and never discuss it again. If you have any questions after you read, ask before you leave.
Sarah claps loudly. We're rich, everybody! The first planet with life! 20% commission spread amongst us all. We just found the most richest real estate in the history of our species. Accelerate our course!
The fold of his robe is lengthened out. He pulls his sleepy mind from its hibernation. He could feel it. 32 minds far away approached. He could feel it. He could feel it. He could taste it. He salivated. He hungered. Oh, how he hungered. So delicious. So close. Not yet. Come closer. 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 I'll wait as I've always waited. His eyes opened. A dark god has awakened.